Hey guys, we are getting ready for our Unit 2 test, and I'm trying out some new technology, so we'll see how this goes. So, our first question is which expression is equivalent to 2/5 divided by 2/3? So first, let's talk about where you can find this. Dividing fractions is on page 10 of your notebook. And if you remember, the strategy is called keep, change, flip. So we want to keep the first fraction exactly the same. So if we look through, this one right here is not exactly the same, but the rest of them are. The rest of those fractions, the beginning fractions, look good. So I can already get rid of choice A. We're supposed to change the division to multiplication. So in answer choice D, they didn't do that, so we can get rid of D. And then we're supposed to flip the second fraction. So this one right here stayed the same. This one was the only one that did keep, change, and flip. So our answer for number 1 would be C. Question number 2. There's 3/8 of a pie that's left in the fridge. Daniel's eating a third of the leftover pie. Okay, so this is how much he started with. He's going to eat a third of that. If you remember on page 9 of your notebook, we wrote down that if you see a fraction and then the word of, that means that you are going to be multiplying. So this is 3/8 times 1/3. We multiply the numerators, that gets us 3. We multiply the denominators, that gets us 24. That's not an answer choice, and that's because we can simplify. 3 and 24 are both divisible by 3. And I'm running out of room here, but 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 24 8 times. So our answer here is A. Another way to think about this is pretend we're looking at the pie. That doesn't really look right, but it's good enough. It said that he had 3/8 that was left over, and he ate a third of that. So we could say he ate this one piece because there's 3 pieces. So 1 out of 3 is 1/3. So he ate 1/8. That's what we got there anyway. So that's number 2. Let's look at number 3. 3 and 1/5 times 2.75. So the 3 is not going to change. You know it's going to be 3 point something. If you remember your fifths are like your fingers, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, you can already know that this is 3.2. But let's say you don't remember that. You can always do top in, bottom out. So our top number is 1. It goes inside with a decimal and a 0. Our bottom number stays out. 5 can't go into 1, but it goes into 10 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. So that gets us that 0.2 that we just talked about. So either way, it's 3.2. Now we can do the multiplication. The 2.75 has to go on top because it has more digits. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 gives me 15. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 gives me 5. We're done with this 2 and with these up here. 3 times 5 gives me 15. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. And 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 gives me 8. Now let's add those 2 lines together. And I get this. I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places in the problem, so I need 1, 2, 3 in the answer. Now we can leave those zeros on the end, but we really don't need them. So technically our answer here would be 8.8. Oh, and I did not say, but this is on page 12. Okay, question number 4. Which statement about 2 multiplied by 1/2 must be true? So instead of looking at our answers and just guessing, it's talking about multiplying 2 times 1/2. We can do that. So we just put a 1 under the 2, so it's 2 over 1 times 1/2. That gives me 2 over 2. And 2 divided by 2, or 2 out of 2, is just 1 whole. So this answer choice D says the answer is between 2 and 3. 1 whole is not between 2 and 3. This one says it's greater than 3. 1 whole is not greater than 3. This one says it's less than 1/2. It's not less than 1/2. So this one says it's between 1/2 and 2. That means 1 whole is greater than 1/2 and it's less than 2 wholes. So that's our answer. Okay, let's look at our second page. And we will look at question number 5. So Melissa has 3.5 gallons of lemonade. She's going to pour it in cups to share with her friends. So just for a second, I'm gonna, just for a second, I'm going to draw a picture of what's going on here. And you'll just have to excuse my great art skills, but she's got a pitcher of lemonade and she's pouring it out into cups that she's sharing with her friends. So if you think about math, anytime you're taking a big amount and you're separating it out into equal groups, that's going to be division. So we're talking about 3.5 divided by 7. First, we have to do MAD. That's going to turn 3.5 into 7 over 2. And then the 7 needs to be 7 over 1. Then we can do keep, change, flip. And again, this is on page 10 of your notebook. So we keep this one, we change to multiplication, and we flip 7 over 1 to be 1 over 7. 7 times 1 is 7, and 7 times 2 is 14. But we're not going to leave it that way because we need to simplify. So 7 and 14 are both divisible by 7. 7 goes into 7 one time, and 7 goes into 14 two times. So basically, it says how much lemonade will each friend receive, and it was in gallons. So they're each going to get 1/2 of a gallon. Okay, question number 6. Dylan purchased beef at the local farmer's market. So he paid $17.25. That's how much he paid all together for 1.5 pounds or 1.5 pounds. We just want to know how much he paid per pound. That's just for 1 pound. Now, 1 pound has to be less than 1.5 pounds. That's the only thing that makes sense. So I would definitely get rid of answer choice A, because he's not going to pay $25 for 1 pound when he only paid $17 for more than 1 pound. So this is a division problem. 17.25 divided by 1.5. This is on page 8 of your notebook. On page 8, you'll remember it teaches you how to do slide, slide, raise the roof. So because I had to move my outside decimal 1 time, I also have to move my inside decimal 1 time. And a lot of you do better when you rewrite the problem. So 172.5 divided by 15. And then 15 is too big to go into 1, but it can go into 17 one time. 15 times 1 is 15. 17 minus 15 is 2. We bring down the next 2. And I forgot to raise the roof over there. And then 15 goes into 22 also 1 time. And 15 times 1 again is 15. Now we can't take 5 away from 2, so make sure you borrow here. 12 minus 5 is 7, and 1 minus 1 is 0, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Now we bring down this. 15 goes into 75 5 times, because 75 times 5 oops, no wonder I'm confused. 15 times 5 is what I meant to say. is 75. That's what we're trying to get to. Okay, so we subtract, we get 0. Now, this is not an answer choice because this doesn't look like money. To make it look like money, it needs another digit after the 5. So we can always add a 0 without changing the value. So it would be 11.50 for 1 pound. Question number 7. John bought 5.6 ounces of coffee beans. They were priced at $3.95 per ounce. How much did he pay? Okay, so we know how much it costs per ounce. That's for 1 ounce. We want to know for 5.6 ounces. He bought more. And if you think about what's going to give you more, it's multiplication. We're looking for the total that he pays. How much did he pay total? Okay, so $3.95 has to go on top because it has more digits. And then the 5.6 will go down here. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 3 is 57. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 5 is 23. Placeholder 0. We're done with these. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 9 is 45, plus 2 is 47. And 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4 is 19. When I add these together, I get this, but we have to remember to put our decimal point. So we have 1, 2, 3 decimal places in the problem. So we need 1, 2, 3 in the answer. That doesn't look like money, but we don't need this 0 on the end. So when it asks us how much he paid $22.12. Okay, last problem. All of the following expressions are equivalent except one. Which one does not belong? Okay, so something to think about is you know that those two can't be the same. And if only one doesn't belong, it's got to be that one. So let's look at the 2 in the middle. 32 divided by 4. Remember, this fraction bar also means division. So 32 divided by 4. So these two are the same. Now, only one of these outside ones matches that. A lot of you are going to think it's this one because we're used to reading left to right. So a lot of y'all think this is 32 divided by 4. But what's being divided goes on the inside. And another way I can show that to you is, let me get rid of all my marks. Don't forget top in, bottom out. So if we look at this fraction version, the top number is 32. The top number should be going inside. The bottom number should be going outside. So really this one is 32 divided by 4. What you're dividing by goes on the outside. The thing that's actually being divided is what's going on the inside. So A says 32 divided by 4. B says 32 divided by 4. C says 32 divided by 4, but D says 4 divided by 32, which is not the same as all the rest of them. Okay, I hope this was helpful, guys. Good luck on your test.